Henry Cejudo says this is the last run, which basically means the next time he loses will be the last time you see him. He will retire afterwards. But here's the quote. "This is the last run. I'm making this last push, this last hurrah. The best is winning. But even better than winning is getting payback, like revenge. So on top of winning, you're able to do that. You just prove to yourself a lot." So he thinks he's going to get the fight with Mr. Merab here and get the title back or something. And that is the fairy tale ending for Mr. Henry Cejudo. But he really did himself a disservice when he took time off from the sport and he retired and he held out for more money. He should have just kept fighting and kept building his name, because I think he beats these guys. I think he would have, having built off of the last performance, when he was knocking out Dominic Cruz and doing things like this, building off of that version of himself, I think he would have been ahead of the other guys. Merab would have always been a tough fight for him, but I think Merab fighting that version of Henry Cejudo versus the version of Henry Cejudo that took all the time off and then came back and lost to Aljamain, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a different thing. It's a different version of Cejudo. It's a Cejudo that's been out of the sport for years and who's just coming back into it, So, there's so many what ifs in the sport of MMA, and in my opinion, Henry Cejudo is one of them. He has one of them, and that's saying a lot considering how much he has accomplished in the sport. But with that said, do I think he wins the title? Right? Let's just get to the big, picture here. Do I think he wins the title back from Merab? No, I do not. He's fighting Song Yadong this weekend. He's going to. I think he's going to be at a striking disadvantage, and I think his punches aren't going to do the same damage that Song's punches do. And I think Song, when he hits Cejudo, you're going to have a noticeable difference. And I think the way Cejudo wins this fight is by wrestling for, all 5 rounds. I mean, that's the thing, too. It's a 5-round fight, this is. I don't see it happening. I think he gets tagged. I think he gets finished. And I think Song Yadong finishes Henry Cejudo. And that's the last time we see him in the octagon. And maybe he goes on to coaching. Maybe he goes on to podcasting. Maybe he just does something else. Who knows? Maybe he joins the Jackson crew with Rampage. I could see Henry on the thing there with TJ, doing content and stuff. He's already doing it with Usman, who's another fighter that's got kind of one leg in, one leg out. Joe Rogan talked about this with Brendan Schaub years ago. He said, you've got one leg in, you got one leg out. You're not fully committed to fighting anymore. You've reached a point in your career. And that's kind of where these guys are. I mean, these guys definitely accomplished more than Brendan Schaub. Don't misunderstand me. But Henry Cejudo's got podcasts going on now. He's it's just different. It's just different when you're his age and you got a family now too. He's got kids, It's a different thing when you're able to just focus all on yourself and you don't have, a wife, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have a child, you don't have these other, not dependents, but like responsibilities, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? And you could focus all on yourself. You could put all of your energy into you. But now his energy is being taken off elsewhere. Into podcasts, it's being taken off. Into family life, it's being taken off. It's just the whole thing. And one last reference, Conor McGregor brought that up against Jose Aldo, if you remember. Once upon a time, when Conor was on the come up, he was saying that Aldo has the family. He has all these things going on in his life that he's not as driven as, tunnel vision as he was on the goal. And Cejudo, at this point in his career, it's hard to go back to that. It really is. And if he does, I think he's got to get all the credit in the world, and you have to really, give him his praise, because it's definitely deserved and due. But I just don't see it. Even if he gets past Song Yadong, which is a tough ask, I think he gets finished. Even if he gets past him, what's next? I mean, title shot's not next. He still has to defend again. And then who does he try to earn a title shot against again? Then do they do Cejudo versus O'Malley for the number 1 contender? That would be crazy. Cejudo versus Corey Sandhagen for number 1 contender. Maybe Cejudo versus Umar. Can Umar bounce back from the loss? That would be something. Or we don't get to see any of it because Song Yadong beats Cejudo. That's why we watch. Can't wait for this weekend. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, whether you agree, disagree. It does not matter. Just join the discussion, follow for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.